Hello everyone and welcome back to the Where in the World series here on Go Westeros. In this episode, just like we did last time, we'll be looking at 3 minor houses from Westeros, what they've been up to, where in the world they are, and how they pertain to the overall story as it's being told. In the last episode, we looked at houses Swift, Karstark and Kettleblack, and this week we'll be looking at House Buckwell from the Crown Lands, House Santagar from Dorne, and House Goodbrother of Hammerhorn from the Iron Islands. At this point, I should mention that this does contain spoilers for all 5 novels of A Song of Ice and Fire, so if you're not up to date, I would not continue on much further. I'm Jack, your host, and let's dive right into it. Pride and purpose are the words of House Buckwell of the Antlers. They are a noble house from the Crown Lands and are sworn directly to the Iron Throne and to the capital city of King's Landing. Their sigil is a rack of golden antlers on a blue and white Vare field. Their stronghold of Antlers is located southwest of Maidenpool, west of Rook's Rest, and northwest of both Duskendale and Rosby. The only known Buckwell throughout A Song of Ice and Fire is Sir Jarman Buckwell, a knight of the Night's Watch. In history, the Buckwells stayed loyal to the Targaryens during Robert's Rebellion. We're introduced to the Buckwells through the only known member, Sir Jarman, in Book 2, A Clash of Kings. Sir Jarman commands the scouts during the great ranging of the Night's Watch from Castle Black. Corin Halfhand suggests that himself, Thorin Smallwood and Sir Jarman are to be leaders of small scouting groups that are to be sent into the mountains to seek out wildling camps. In A Storm of Swords, Sir Jarman leads his scouting mission to climb the Giant Stair in the search for wildlings. By the time he returns, the disastrous Battle of the Fist of the First Men has already happened, and the main party of the Night's Watch have already evacuated and or are killed. He and his team continue to search the wilderness, where they spot Jon Snow walking freely amongst the wildlings. They then return to Castle Black after the main party, but before Jon Snow. He reports to Mr. Aemon and Donald Noy that Jon may be a turncloak, as it certainly appeared that way to him. In A Dance with Dragons, Lord Commander Jon Snow thinks to himself that the Night's Watch has lost too many of its best men, including Jeor Mormont, the Old Bear, the former Lord Commander, Corin Halfhand, Donald Noy, his uncle Benjen Stark, and Sir Jarman Buckwell, indicating that he is now deceased. Although it's uncertain when he died, it's likely that he died in the Battle of the Bridge of Skulls against Mance's men. I hope we get to see more Buckwells in the future. I mean, why not? It's always nice to hear more about houses and build up the world a little bit. House Santagar of Spotswood is a house of landed knights. Landed knights being a knight that takes residence in a keep with accompanying lands and small folk. According to George R.R. Martin, some landed knights may be more wealthy than the poorest of lords, but as all knightly houses, they cannot dispense their own justice. They have to seek verdicts from their liege lords. They make their home at Spotswood and are one of the main houses sworn to the Martells of Sunspear. Their words are not known, but their sigil is a spotted leopard on a divided blue and white circle. The location of Spotswood is unknown. 9 Santagars throughout A Song of Ice and Fire include Sir Simon Santagar, the Knight of Spotswood, his heir Silver Santagar, and an unknown relation called Sir Aaron Santagar. In history, the Santagars were adventuring Andals who formed their own kingdom in Dorne during the Andal invasion, which points to them being of the stony Dornish persuasion, having stony Dornish having more Andal blood than other types of Dornish people. It's very easily, and it's very possible that they sort of married into other Dornish ethnicities, so they might not be stony Dornish anymore, but it's very likely that they are. We're introduced to House Santagar in A Game of Thrones. Sir Roderick Castle asks Sir Aaron Santagar about the knife used in the murder attempt of Bran Stark. Sir Roderick considers Sir Aaron a vain man, but honest. So Aaron rides in the Hand's tourney. He rides 3 tilts against Lothar Brun, but to no result, and later then he falls to Lord Jason Mallister. In a clash of kings, Sir Aaron escorts the royal retinue that is attacked by small folk of King's Landing after the sailing of Princess Marcella to Dawn. The angry mob pulls him from his saddle and bashes his head in with a stone. After the riot, Aaron's body is barely recognisable. In A Feast of Crows, Sylve Santagar is one of Princess Ariane Martel's friends. She joins in Ariane's conspiracy to crown Marcella and is caught along with other conspirators. She receives no punishment from Prince Doran Martell, but Lady Sylve's father, Sir Simon Santagar, sends her away to marry the very old Lord Eldon Estamont, whom we've covered in the past. Ariane believes that House Santagar does not have the power to intimidate Prince Doran. And that ends their involvement in A Song of Ice and Fire so far. House Goodbrother of Hammerhorn is a noble house from the Iron Islands. They are one of the most powerful houses from Great Wick, the largest of the islands. They are also one of House Greyjoy's primary bannermen. Their keep of Hammerhorn is inland in the Hardstone Hills, meaning that their wealth does not come from the Sunset Sea, but through their mines, similar to the Lannisters of Castle Rock. Their sigil is a gold-banded black warhorn on a red field. Their words are not known. Hammerhorn is said to be a large square castle with spiky iron battlements. There are several cadet branches of House Goodbrother, including House Goodbrother of Downdelving, House Goodbrother of Crowspike Keep, House Goodbrother of Corpse Lake, House Goodbrother of Shatterstone on Oldwick, and the Goodbrothers of Orkmont. Known Goodbrothers of Hammerhorn throughout A Song of Ice and Fire include Lord Gorald Goodbrother, the Lord of Hammerhorn, his daughters, his named daughters, Gisela and Gwyn. He has 10 more unnamed daughters, and triplet sons, Graydon, who is his heir, Gormund and Gran. So damn, that man's been busy. In history, unlike most houses of the Iron Islands, they claim descent from the Grey King's loyal eldest brother. When a Kingsmoot was used to crown a new High King of the Iron Islands, only House Grey'iron had more kings chosen than the Goodbrothers. One of these famous High Kings was Urathon Goodbrother VI. We are introduced to House Goodbrother in Book 2, A Clash of Kings. When Theon Greyjoy arrives at Pike, he sees a number of longships, including some bearing the Goodbrother banner. The main strength of Lord Goodbrother amounts to near 40 longships at Lordsport. Theon thinks that the Goodbrother men are notorious at Pike for their striped goat hair sashes. Asher Greyjoy comes to Pike from the island of Great Wick with Lord Gorald. Theon sees some of the Goodbrother men in his father Balon's Great Hall. 2 books later, in A Feast for Crows, Lord Gorald Goodbrother and the Spa, who is the Lord of House Spa, and his son Stefarian Spa, bring Aeron Damphair the tidings of King Balon's death. Damphair has a certain disdain for the Goodbrothers because their keep of Hammerhorn in the Hardstone Hills is far from the sea. Of course, Aeron is a very religious man and lives off of the sea. He worships the sea, of course, as the drowned god. Some Goodbrothers gather on Oldwick for the Kingsmoot to wish Victarion Greyjoy well. It's noted that 2 of Gorald's sons get into a fight during the Kingsmoot, and although Lord Gorald is initially a supporter of Victarion, after Euron Crowseye's speech, Aeron Damphair spots him chanting Euron's name. To round out their involvement in A Song of Ice and Fire, Lord Gorald is seen talking by Victarion with Dunstan Drum and Roderick Harlaw in the castle yard of Lord Hewitt Town during the invasion of the Shield Islands. And as we wrap up on House Goodbrother, we wrap up on this episode of Where in the World. It's quite a short one. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found at least some of what I said helpful in your quest to gain as much knowledge of this world as possible. Remember to find me on Twitter at GoWesteros. Drop me a comment, a tweet, some advice, some criticism, or just say hello. I've been Jack, your host, and I'll see you all very, very, very soon.